And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics.
Now we move to our Android Basics section, and regular listeners will know that we've been revisiting categories of apps that we looked at in the podcast's formative years. So we're moving on to our next set now, and this is a category that many of us will use, particularly in unfamiliar places for orienting ourselves, and that is GPS apps. Warren, what are your preferred GPS apps of choice?
Yeah, so GPS apps, it is one of those things that, frankly, I think everyone has a different idea of what a GPS app should do and all of that. And we can't necessarily, you can't have two people agreeing on a thing. If you're not a stranger, you probably have seen what is going on our email group. There's been a lot of noise going on about a new GPS app that just came to light from our friends there at the Seeing Assistant Move. We've got them on here for like a couple times or so. Now they got a new one, the Seeing Assistant Go. And frankly, I actually like the app. If there's any complaint that I have against it right now is that it doesn't have the imperial measurements. Ed, you and I both use imperial measurements. All this is metrics. But other than that, I mean, it's the closest to what we probably would be looking for. I know some people want to see what is around me, points of interest or whatever, and lots of things like that. For me, when it comes to navigation, to be honest, I just want to be able to, if I want to go to Karen's house, I got Karen on my mind, right? So I'm going to head to Karen's house. I just need directions to go to Karen's house. I don't want to be distracted. There's a little, gas station to my right, or there's a little coffee or whatever. I tried going to those things. By the time that I'm supposed to get to Karen's house at, 1 p.m. or whatever, I probably wouldn't be getting there till 5 p.m. And at that point, Karen has closed the gate. So I don't want distraction. I want to go to some place. But I would love to see, for me, what I want to see in an app, a GPS app, is what I want to call the wander around, get to know my city. In other words, I just want to take off, walk down the street like I do, summer days, walking around. And then when it's time to go back home, I want to go back home. Or most importantly, if I can track back where I came from and let it take me back to where I started the trek. That's what I'm looking for in a GPS. And so I was going to try that one yesterday, but I didn't get to it. It got so busy yesterday, so I didn't get to it. But for now, I've been using Lazarillo. And when it comes to in-car navigation, all that I need is the Google Maps. I don't want any other app when it comes to navigating using a GPS app. So Lazarillo it is for me. And this new one, I'll also be trying that because it sounds very good. But for car navigation, I'm Google Maps all the way.
And do you know how Seeing Assistant Go differs to Seeing Assistant Move?
Yeah, so the complexity, and I think that sometimes apps get a little bit too complex. I think what they have done, though, with the Seeing Assistant Go is that they've kind of simplified the ease of use. And yet in the same breath, you've got that advanced mode in there for those that would like to be able to use that advanced mode. But so there's a lot of, maybe some similarities, but in reality, I think the Seeing Assistant Go is more up to where people want it because it's more simplified, and yet in the same breath, if you're a seasoned user and you want some of those features that you could find in the Seeing Assistant Move or whatever, you have that as well. So I think it took a lot of thinking on their part to come up with this solution. And actually, I am looking forward to them coming on and talking about it on our podcast.
And yeah, we should make sure we've tried it, because I think they were a bit surprised we hadn't tried Seeing Assistant Move when they came on last time. So we will definitely do that. I like Lazarillo as well. Google Maps I use sometimes. It's slightly less useful still, I think, here, in that it doesn't quite give you as much audio information as it does in the US. What I still quite like, and I know a lot of people don't because its predecessor was better, is Good Maps, because it's really simple. It's not as feature rich as everyone wants, but it does seem to get the job done. Less chatty than Lazarillo. Like, if what you want to do is go to Kareen's house and not hear any of Lazarillo's POIs and nonsense, then Good Maps outdoors, I think, still is quite a good shout. And the indoors here, anyway, there are a few buildings who've supported them now. So in London, anyway, it's potentially quite useful, but it's not obviously Nearby Explorer. I think it does do that sort of reversible waypoint thing. So if you've been wandering around and want to retrace your steps, you can put waypoints or breadcrumbs on it, can't you, by shaking your phone, and they'll drop, or it will add them automatically. So yeah, I know a lot of people don't like it, but if what you want is something really, really simple to get you from A to B, then you can probably do a lot worse.
And Ed, I'm a simple man. I'm all about simplicity, and I like things that are simple and easy to use. And I haven't tried that Good Maps Outdoor in like a couple of years. I know when it first came out, I was on their beta, and I was giving them my feedback and all of that. Now I'm going to try it again, because if it's doing what you're saying, I think that's good. I don't mind simple apps. I've always argued that if I want a coffee house, for example, I'm using Google Maps. If we're driving, I could tell it, hey, show me a place where I could get a coffee on my way to where I'm going. I'm going to Karen's house, but show me where to stop to get a coffee, or whatever, things of that nature. But I don't want all that noise. To be honest, it's probably because maybe I'm not the type that like noises and all of that. I don't want to be, distracted. The ping here and the ping there. And that's the reason why I don't have any notifications on my phone. And I want something simple. I want to get to where I'm going to. And if I need something, I will ask for it.
One I came across today, and I think it has been around for a while, I just didn't know about it. Have you come across Waymap?
No, I haven't. There was one that some guy from Texas, I believe, a group from Texas, I think it was Finder or Pathfinder, or I don't remember what it was, but it was very promising. It would let you know when you're coming up, an object and all of that. But I think it was maybe a little too challenging for them, and nothing happened. So how about that? What did you say? Waymapper?
So supposedly, and it's one of these, again, that wants to kind of team up with venues, but it's supposed to work outdoors too, and I need to try it. But it apparently doesn't rely on your phone signal, or, somewhat ironically for this category, your GPS. What it is supposed to do is download an offline map. You put your phone in your pocket, you tell it how tall you are, and it predicts where you are, I guess, based on location services and accelerometers in your phone. And it claims it has a 1 meter accuracy.
That's really interesting. But so it will take me to a place that I want to go to and all of that. I really got to try that, because I haven't tried it. We just have so many not so good. Depends on who you're talking to. I know people are arguing that we don't have any good GPS apps on Android. Well, I guess everyone has whatever right to their own opinion. But frankly, there are just so many navigational apps on there. And, in the blindness area, for example, I think we've got a few that sometimes, sound promising, and then something happens and something is not working right. And then it becomes something that people try to poo-poo the whole thing. So, I'm looking at you, WeWalk. You guys remember that WeWalk thing? I don't know about WeWalk. They kind of, you ask for my email, or, and then you also want to ask for my phone number. What's my phone number got to do with navigation? I have no clue. But
So this Waymap was very, very proud of the fact it doesn't ask for anything at all, other than some permissions. Now, whether it's a 1 meter accuracy outdoors, because as I say, it has an indoor mode where it wants companies to map its venues, but it does claim to work outdoors. So I'm going to try this and see what it does. Amusingly, its interface does seem to be designed for Apple, because the voice it uses is described as Alex, and I'm pretty sure we don't have Alex on Android. And indeed, when I turned it on, I haven't actually been out today, but when I turned it on and waved my phone around, having started hoping it would say something, I got the Google Assistant voice telling me to cross my street and keep to the pavement and keep left. So I don't think it does in fact use Alex at all. But I think we are going out tonight, so I might well try it and see if it is any good. As I say, so this is not an endorsement. No one's tried it. I just thought it was an interesting concept.
I'm going to install it because I think it really sounds interesting. I've always argued that the more of these things we have, if something doesn't work, one particular app doesn't have the feature that you're looking for, it may be in another app. And that's why I wind up being such a app junkie, because I just have lots of these things, and so for me, I don't want to be stranded using just one. So it's always good to have more of these things in the event that one is not doing what you're looking for.
Yeah. Karine, do you use GPS apps?
Well, do you know the character in the kids' school book that you tell your kids not to be like this person? So I'm this person that no blind people should be like me, because actually I'm so much dependent on sighted guidance, to the point that I don't see me at all using any of the GPS or navigational apps. There are a lot, I know, but I don't use any. As I told you, I'm so much dependent on sighted guidance, even here in our street. So yeah, this is... It's not something good. You shouldn't be like this, but yeah, this is the case here. And actually, I still use something which is Google Maps usually for asking about things nearby. For example, if I want to ask about a certain shop, I want to get a phone number of a certain place or something. If I want to, yeah, I use Google Maps with the assistant. Actually, Google Assistant, I just ask and get the information, but. This is only what I do with GPS apps and navigation apps, but there should be something that people have to be aware of, which is some applications that are still working but aren't updated or something. So like Nearby Explorer, I think it's no longer updated. And I remember once we were going somewhere and we had a blind person in the car. She wanted to go somewhere and she was using the Nearby Explorer, and then she insisted that we haven't reached the place that she wanted to be in, and the driver was trying to tell her we are actually at that place, but she didn't agree until Nearby told her that we were at that place, but then we were actually far from the place, and we had to turn around and move for about 15 minutes, I think, until we reached the place again. So I think people should be aware that sometimes accuracy isn't that good. Sometimes apps aren't updated. So just don't be so much reliant on these applications.
Yeah, that's true. Happily, I think it has now been pulled from the Play Store. So if you've got Nearby, then it's legacy, or I'm sure you can find an APK, but I don't think you'll be installing that one by mistake anyway from the Play Store. I mean, it's good you've got competent sightlings to help guide, as have I. But occasionally, you might be in a situation where you have rubbish sightlings. So even if they're guiding you, it can be quite useful for you to have a GPS if their sense of direction isn't very good. So if you're sort of thinking like Karine, I need folks to help me get to places. Think how good their sense of direction is, and if it's not, then install a GPS app, and then you can navigate for them.
Yeah, and it's really nice that you have sighted guides. So that's GPS right there too. young lady. But in reality, talking about all the Nearby Explorer and all of that, I think that one of the feature that people used to like about Nearby Explorer is that ability, that geo beaming to kind of find where the door, because sometimes I wish that now, especially with businesses, there could be, and probably this should be impendent on the businesses to put a little beacon on their, entrance or whatever, so that my GPS app will, take me to where the door is, because that's the problem. Yeah, you get there and then you don't know where the door is. And I think for those of us who are blind, probably that's one of the biggest problems that needs to be solved. If we could have that solution to where I get to a place and I'm able to find where that door is. But right now, most of the time, yeah, your destination is on the right or on the left. But then, of course, you don't know where the door is. I'm trying to look at my post office here, for example. I mean, I know where the door is. And I was using Lazarillo just for giggles to see. And all of them, whether it's Lazarillo or Google Maps or, outdoor maps, that was like 2-3 years ago, they took me on a different route. But, there's a route that I prefer. I'll take that route. But if you follow what they're telling you, like Karen was saying, text me takes me through the backside and coming up from the backside of it. But then that's kind of a little bit farther actually from where the door is. So yeah, there's that problem in there. And I don't know why anyone would be insisting that I want to use something like Nearby Explorer, in a car travel. I think that when it comes to car navigation, I'll put my eggs in Google Maps instead, because really they have more of the data. And, anyone that is using GPS, or GPS providers, most of the time they're either trying to get that data from Google or they're trying to get that data from OpenStreetMap. So I would rather go to, the original source, unless, of course, that third-party one has some of those specifics that are designed for us, for those of us who are blind. And that's the reason why we're constantly looking for these modified GPS apps that addresses some of the needs that we need as blind people. For example, I want to know that I'm walking on the west bank of a street or on the south side of the street, and when I get to a corner, I'm either on the northeast corner of Magnolia Street or whatever, and I'm crossing the street, is letting me know now you're crossing Magnolia Street, and whether Magnolia Street is a one-way or dead end somewhere. That's what I want to see in a GPS app for me as a blind person.
And it's annoying to have to switch, but obviously if you think you're somewhere near the door, like if you're on the backside of the building, it might not help, but you're somewhere near and you can't find it, then if it comes to it, you can pull up another app now and you use one of the AIs to ask, where is the door, take a shot. And it should, as I say, if you're on the wrong side of a lot, then maybe it won't. But if it's in camera view and you just can't find it, then pulling up one of those AIs ought to help you find the door.
You're correct. I never even thought of that. So you see, we've got lots of solutions lately, and that really makes sense, because I'm looking at that post office in my little town, for example. The backside of it has like the history of our little town. And if I had pulled out that, say, Gemini, for example, Gemini Live, and turn on the video view or streaming, it would let me know this is a backside, and I would have asked, and where's the front side, and so yeah, you're correct, Ed. I think we have more tools than we actually realize, most especially now with AI. I know the late Austin, how I wish you were here, because he was the one that was so into AI, when all of us were not all that particularly interested in that AI. Austin was always talking about it. It's just that's unfortunate he's not here. But yeah, that's another solution. You could always ask to find the door. And I think that Lookout, for example, does something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we do have solutions. That's why, for me, it's good to have many of these things.
Yeah, and if you've got a plan that supports one of the, conversational elements, I think Gemini Live is free now anyway, isn't it? But in some ways, even though they're adapted for us, I think just being able to talk to Gemini is just more convenient than Be My Eyes or Ally, even if they are, better geared for something like that. Yeah, it's much more convenient than to take a shot and ask it questions and all that jazz. Sally, what about you? Do you use GPS?
Well, I use GPS, but here to the discussion, I think there's something quite been discussed about that. Whenever there's an app comes to Android, the guys in the other side, they say, "Is it like Blind Square?" Like,
Yeah, so it seems like Blind Square for some reason is the standard, but whose standard is it? That's my whole
Yeah.
point.
Wait.
What you want, what Sally wants in a GPS app
Yeah.
is not what I want.
But
So
this
whose
is kind
standard?
of too much of pressure from the other side of the smartphone world. Maybe thinking this is the perfect app, and any Android app should be like Blind Square, but each has their own. So, in my opinion, I use other than that your apps. I use Move It for public transportation, for example. That really helps. Do you use it, Ed?
I use it for timetabling. Do you actually use it for GPS?
I mean, it's helping you when you're taking the public transportation, like you're tracking your bus stops or metro stations.
Yeah. So how do you set it up then? What will you do? Because I'll just tend to sort of look at it. Because we sort of have audio announcements, so I haven't really delved into that. I've set a destination on a bus occasionally where it will then tell you you're 5 stops away, kind of get ready to get off. Is that the sort of thing you mean on the metro?
Exactly, that's how it is. How
Yeah.
it works. You get to those info from Mode itself when your bus is coming and when you're about to get it off. So you can just track the stops, and after that, you will know where you are.
Yeah, it's really clunky to set up. Like it doesn't work the way I want it to work. I want to. What I wish I could do is because I do it. I go like my Move It journey starts with timetabling, not with setting a journey. Because normally I know vaguely where I want to go, and I know what the route is. So I wish I could pull up a bus route and then select the station I want to be notified from there. But I don't think you can. I think you have to. I think you sort of have to set your destination and do it that way.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that way, and you need to set it up front. So that's how it works.
I think you should be able
So,
to get into it from either way.
I'm kind of thinking, would it be possible to like have it running in the background? Say I'm using another app for navigation, but I could have this, letting me know about bus stops and something like that. Do you think it might work like that? Work together with another app, giving me the information that I need when it comes to, maybe what's next upcoming bus stop or, something of that nature. I don't know. We don't have buses in my little town. Maybe we have a little hitching
so-
rail for a horse, but no.
Yeah, you get a horse stops.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work with any other apps. You just need to keep it on tracking, and you need to specify the bus stop that you're going to get it off. So it will notify you, after some time and how many stops you'll have to get it off, like 3 stops, 2 stops.
Yeah, it's a countdown more than telling you what you're going by. Really,
Yeah.
It's a little bit like Blind
'Cause,
Square. in that
Like, it
respect.
assumes that what those stops are, and you can see where you are. It's just like a bus tracking.
Yeah,
It's not exactly a GPS app, but it's
No.
really helping me
Yeah.
to get ready to get it off from the bus. Because living in a big city, especially when it was in Istanbul, that was a really really helpful thing. Because the buses are so crowded, like a lot of people in there. So you just need to get ready after before 2 stops, and you just need to
Get up. Yeah,
get off right there.
yeah. I've got to say, I think this is one category where Do we agree things have got worse on GPS? I think they probably have.
Well, I don't know. Again, like I said, it depends who you're talking to. I mean, in the past, what was it? It was the same old thing. I want to go from point A to point B. Nothing has changed when it comes to that one. I think there were some things in certain apps that, that look around. And doesn't the outdoor maps have that good maps? Outdoor have the look around thing? I thought it did.
I can't remember. It might do. Lazarillo does, doesn't it? I thought Good Maps did. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not,
I
I'm
think
not
it
certain.
does.
Yeah.
And I think Lazarillo does have that too, to where if you point
Yeah.
it will tell you what's in that area. So I don't know, really. It depends on what you're looking for or whatever. But I don't know what we had. I think people, like Sally said earlier, people always kind of make the blind square the standard, or looking at Nearby Explorer as the standard. And I think what people are talking about when it comes to that Nearby Explorer is that ability to find that door. And with that gone, then definitely, if you're looking at it from that viewpoint, then we've kind of taken a step backward.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. Nothing has changed, if you ask me.
No, the A to B thing, I think the simplicity is fine. What you had more choice about, I think, also was offline maps, which can be helpful because you can go through not spots. Now, offline maps have their own problems. You might be less likely to get traffic alerts or be notified of things, but offline maps can nonetheless be quite helpful in situations. And you don't have many options for that at all. I'll see if this Way map is any good. Google Maps will do it, but as I say, outside of the US and Japan and maybe some others by now, it's turn by turn isn't as amazing as some of the others. But you had more options for offline maps before, I think, than you do now, and I think that is a problem.
Well, actually, I think though in the general category, I mean, I'm not looking at blindness, but we have a lot of offline maps, really, lots of those on the Play Store, and there are some of those European mapping that have lots of offline as well. But I think because we're talking particularly about those of us who are blind, that's where
that's what I mean. Blindness solutions, offline maps.
So,
there used to be a lot. Or at least it used to be more than there are now, which is none.
Well, I don't think we had a lot. We had maybe one or two. But really, because back in the day of geo maps, or what the guys from the Code Factory, they had that mapping system on there that they used to have, and then you have the other one from the what are those guys?
It was Sendero, wasn't
Sendero
it? Mike May.
Group. Yeah, and then you have,
and that was on the PC, wasn't it? You had that as well. You could look at it.
It was on the I think they had it on the Victor Trek, and I think it was also on. Was it on a Nokia phone? I don't remember. One of those.
Probably.
I don't remember.
Anyway, it made the smartphones, but you could play with it on your Windows PC as well, and like have a look around before you went if you wanted to.
Yeah, but those things were very expensive too. But really, I like I said, this is all opinion based, and everyone has their own opinion and how they feel about these things. I don't think it's that bad as sometimes people make it out to be, but that's my personal view on it.
But offline maps is probably objectively a good thing and not a matter of opinion, isn't it? If you know that you live somewhere where the signal's going to be a bit spotty, that like having fewer choices for that is probably not good, is it? I agree. The basic things are
frankly, I think offline maps are good because it's not always that one is going to have internet access, for example. And, basics, the streets have not changed if you are not in a place that is having like active construction and all of that. The streets that, will still be there. So it's always, I think, if I'm able to have an offline map, I'm all for it. And most especially, what I would like to see is like when I'm out in the woods and we park, I want to mark my spot and then be able to come back to that spot, because sometimes you go hiking in the summer. And I know one time we got lost, my wife and I and the kids, 5 of us, we got lost and we were trying to come down this mountain. It was so scary. We got a dog with us, and came off at some place that is not where we parked, and someone gave my wife a ride to where our car was. So, I tell
Wow.
you, so it's just kind of, we started at 8 o'clock. We didn't get done till like 5 in the evening. I was, deadbeat. It was
I'm
that
not
brutal.
surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, so in a case like that, I want to be able to retrace my steps. And, we asked people and no one seemed to know. And so definitely that's where I would like, those breadcrumbs you are talking about, it, dropping those
Yeah.
as we walk along. So I find my way back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Good Maps does that.